Hello, everybody, and welcome to our coverage of the latest Legends of Chima episode. This was episode 9, Gorillas Gone Wild.
Oh, no. Stupid gorillas!
Yeah, this episode was...
Really,
Oh,
really
yeah,
stupid.
yeah, fine, let's say our names. I missed it.
Oh, and the magic rope thing
Alena.
appeared again, but we'll get into
Alena,
that.
no. I'm messing
I'm
up.
Elgin.
Yeah, he's Elgin. And Alena?
I'm Alina.
Okay, that was the most jumbled mishmash of names ever. I'm gonna say it myself. I'm Messnack, he's LJ, there's Alina, and Ian is here even though he didn't actually watch the episode, but
You
hey.
stupid Ian.
Ian's everywhere. He's here, there, everywhere.
You know, I'm just riding them coattails, you know? Living life to the fullest.
What about Pepsi Tails?
Okay, anyway. This episode,
Thanks.
it wasn't bad. I want to get that out of the way. There have been bad Chima episodes. This was not one of them. It was just painfully mediocre.
This
No.
wasn't bad to watch.
No, it was not.
If I had to
Wow.
choose something over it, I would.
Yeah.
Legend Reborn.
Yes. There's many things better than this episode, but it was not horrible by any means. The real problem with it, I would say, is the premise. It's flawed from the start. Because they try and show, like, okay, the gorillas, they have this thing called a tower flower, and they're all on it, and it does something that was never clarified. And, yes.
It wasn't clarified, but it was
something.
it was implied.
Yes, it was
There's a few jokes going around right now.
quite a few. And if
All
you watch the
Californian.
episode, I bet you could probably get what we're referencing. But basically, this flower, they're all laying on it, and here comes Cragger the crocodile, and he's like, I guess, training or playing by like cutting trees down at
And
will
rocks.
and rocks. So-
Cutting everything.
and he's just going on a chopping spree for no apparent
Oh.
reason after being told to go play elsewhere by his sister, and he chops down this tower flower. And this basically sends the gorillas into a murderous rampage, and they go after
The likes of which
have never been seen except for the wolves when they became zombies. That one episode.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. It is interesting because the gorillas go after Cragger with intent to kill, and he tries to fight them, fails horribly. They still are just going after him. So he flees back to the Croc Swamp hideout, and one of the gorillas breaks off from the pack, who decides to follow in their mechs, and they go back and tell the lions, hey, just a heads up, Cragger did this. The gorillas are going crazy. We need your help. And the lions go to help the gorillas, who decide to attack the entire crocodile village, even though it was just Cragger that did this, with no intent behind it other than just wildly chopping. This was not one of their plans. This was an accident, and they just
Actually,
try and kill all of the crocodiles.
what I want to know is how the heck did whatever his name is, the Cragger and his sister have such a long conversation, and there was absolutely no fighting around the two of them. Like, you could see fighting in the background, but that had to have been at least 100 feet away, and it looks like that place has a lot of chaos.
They picked
So
a
I
nice
have,
chatting corner.
I guess they did, or that area is just like the area that you go to chat in the middle of battle, and no one will attack you.
Yeah.
Until you're like until after you've hatched your evil plan and you're ready to unleash it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay. Yeah. Like in every
And-
episode. What else?
Not even like the gorillas even attack them after they're done. It's like, I'm not completely useless, crueler. Boom! One of his own guys hits him.
Yeah.
One of his own guys hits him, knocks him into his sister, and they both topple over, kind of. Well, she has to drag him to safety, right?
Yeah. She does.
Yeah.
And like in every episode, this cannot be avoided. They do decide to turn it into some scheme, and yes, the flower
But I
is
don't-
used.
I'll never get the flower thing. I mean,
No,
how the
never
heck do
explained
you
it.
control your brothers with flowers?
This
And it's just
was This was not a thing in the original script. This is a TV show only thing. and it was never been explained and probably never will be. So.
All I'm gonna say is I really wish I had that kind of a flower. Then I could control my brothers into doing my chores for me.
Quite. Exactly.
That would be really useful. And then I could control LJ.
I'm glad no such flower ever exists, and hopefully no scientist will go, I'm gonna make this flower.
But LJ, the fans, they need a wedding.
Okay, anyway.
We're moving on!
Yes, so basically, yeah, the crocodiles do decide to turn it into a scheme, and they try to, like, maroon the gorillas on some, like, narrow strip of land so they can, like, basically troll them because they can't swim, I guess, or because they're in mechs.
Well,
they can't
here's another...
They'll sink. Alina, I'm trying to give a
Sorry.
recap here. Say your piece when I'm done. So, basically, all the tribes come and to help the gorillas for absolutely no reason, and it turns into like a 20-minute long witch hunt against the crocodiles. And yeah, the crocodiles, they're not entirely innocent. They try and spin the situation, but it like there goes back and forth, the power struggle. When one second the crocodiles are winning, and then they decide to hook the gorillas' mechs onto the eagles' jets, and then they get the upper hand, and eventually, yeah, they're beaten, and Crueler gets stuck in a tree twice in an episode, and then Kragger refuses to help her, and instead that stupid bird comes along and like cleans her teeth and is like trolling her, and she's annoyed. But it was really weird, and like now you can go.
Alright, so what I was about to say earlier is the branch-it part, where when the monkey mechs, whatever they're called,
Yes.
were swinging along the branches.
Yes.
Even in the beginning, those branches looked like they would not be able to support that much weight for that long. So how is it that these branches, still I think about the same thickness as the previous ones, are finally starting to break, even though they haven't had any previous pressure on them?
You watched the Eagle Spire episode, didn't you?
I did.
You remember those chains, don't you?
Yes.
And the nails. And you remember when Laval fell through the sky and Ares like flew and defied physics to go save him?
Yeah.
Reality has no place in this world. This is Chima.
All
the
right.
rules are different.
All right.
These branches.
But another thing that I don't get is, one thing that I didn't get for what the crocodile said is, let's go deeper into the swamp. Couldn't remember the word for a second. Let's go deeper into the swamp. The branches will get thinner up there.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Don't the branches get thicker the deeper you go into a place?
When you travel further into a swamp, the foliage tends to get much thicker.
Yeah, and there was practically no foliage at the bottom of the swamp. Like there was land, but there was not foliage.
Oh wait. Was this
for
down
the
a
tops
river?
of the trees and at the bottom? Like the foliage for the trees was pretty thick, but the limbs were very thin. And you'd think that the branches would be thicker the deeper you get into the forest, and then there was practically no foliage at the bottom except for ground, if that can even count as foliage.
This is weird.
It is weird. And
did this company do any kind of research?
I don't think they care.
Forests?
I literally do not think they care. This is a fantasy world, and I think that is the least on their minds, is they can tweak the reality to how they see fit. Kids aren't gonna.
Well, you see, the thing is, I know they hired a I forgot the title of it, but usually there's a continuity director or an advisor. Yes. They keep track of everything that's continuity based.
I've done that before.
Yes.
Yes. So that's their job. If they can't do that, then there's no point in.
Well, the series is pretty good with the series is pretty good with continuity as far as itself is concerned. It references a lot of stuff, and like and the old balloon plants returned in this episode, which you wouldn't know about, and they function exactly the same. But
actually,
real world parallels non-existent.
Well, they should keep it otherwise.
Can I say something real quick about the balloon plants?
Yes.
I would love to have one of those. Those look really fun to float through the air.
That's why we just give you all of Chima's plants.
Yeah, you can get the world of Chima, and it can be your playground. You could
All
have
right.
control over it and everyone inside of it.
Alright, I'll defy physics and I'll make sure
Do
to
it.
kill off Laval.
Thank you. Nothing of value would be lost. Anyway, if I had to pick,
Maybe his dad too.
this episode had some good chase scenes. You didn't really have many. Well, yeah, it had some fight scenes, but it was really the gorillas rampaging around and the crocodiles shooting them. There were no jokes, which made me go wow, just wow, which is a plus, except for maybe Krager's song at that one point. But
Oh.
I cannot get behind the episode because of how ludicrous it actually is. That the gorillas would, one, attack the crocodiles like that, and two, that everyone else would go attack the crocodiles too for no apparent reason, just because they're crocodiles.
What I don't get is, why did the lions even go in the first place? I mean, it looked like in the beginning that the gorillas had it pretty well covered. And not to mention, it wasn't a fight it wasn't a fight that the lions and the
Yeah.
gorillas were fighting together. It was a
Exactly.
fight that the gorillas were fighting against the alligators. So it's like,
Alex.
where did the lions have the right to come in and interrupt? I mean, I know that the lions saved the gorillas' butts, but
Well,
come on.
that one gorilla put it to them like, okay, they're out of their mind. But are they really? We've seen animals in Chima out of their mind, and it was the zombie wolves. The gorillas were nothing of the sort. They were just angry. And I'm sure if you sit and talk to them for a few minutes, they would have been calmed down. Some dude on Eurobricks called it war crimes. Like, after seeing only one croc was responsible, taking the fight to the currently innocent croc village, it's wrong. And when the female gorilla goes to warn the lions about the rampage of revenge, I expected them to go in to either hold back the gorillas or protect the crocs. Instead, we're treated to a 3-tribe witch hunt on the crocs.
To be honest, I think that they made this episode just because Lego wanted to show that the gorillas can actually stand their ground and they aren't some hippies. I have a very much cruder term for that, but I'll stay kids' safety.
Thank you. Because I don't know if you've watched all the other episodes. The gorillas don't do anything.
And they are
in the
really
episode with the wolves, they tried because one of their tribe was kidnapped, but they just got owned repeatedly by the zombie wolf army, and they only were defeated because of banana peels, which were not their doing.
Yeah.
And this episode they were rampaging and destroying stuff, and okay, yeah, they're a legitimate tribe. We get it. You don't need to push this.
Yeah, it's like, all right, hey, the gorillas can finally kick some butt. Yeah,
right.
But do they really have to go this insane and practically destroy another tribe when it was only one member that did that to them? I mean, I know the crocodile tribe has been trying to destroy the other tribes for. Do they have a reason? I haven't been watching the series.
They do have a reason, but it's a bit of a stretch, and there's a lot of controversy behind it, and we've talked this subject to death, so I'll give you the short version. Basically, there are two versions of Chima's story, and one is official and one is the TV show, where they adapted it for the purposes of making a show out of it. In the initial script, the crocodiles, they basically decided to rally together all the forces of the island against the lions, and this included a vast number of tribes. Like, there are tribes that have yet to be introduced in the sets where they're going to make an alliance, probably one's bad, one's good, to build up the numbers even further. But currently there were only like 3, and it was the ravens and the wolves and the crocodiles versus the eagles and the lions and the gorillas. In the TV show, though, everyone does their own thing, and the crocodiles are just manipulators. They just go around basically trolling the entire island all the time, kidnapping people and like doing all this crazy stuff. And the magic flower was not a thing in the original story. There were actual reasons, motivations, and important stuff that doesn't exist.
Alright, because as I was saying, it just, from what I've seen, which I think was like 3, maybe 4 episodes, the crocodiles are just there to cause trouble. They don't actually have any purpose except to somehow make some kind of jumbled, stupid plot line for the series.
That is exactly.
Because from what you said about the original script, it actually sounded pretty interesting.
was.
Just from the brief description you gave. Like, I'd have to look more into it to see if it actually is good.
It wasn't anything revolutionary, and it was replacing Ninjago, which set the bar pretty high, and everyone was like, "This sounds mediocre." But in retrospect, it was decent. It was intriguing to a slight degree, and yeah, in the show, the Crocs do have motivations. They just want chi, and they want a lot of it. And every episode, more or less, they're trying to get it. But other times, they're just antagonists for the sake of having antagonists.
Actually, chi wasn't even mentioned in this episode, was it?
They used it, but they never said it.
Yeah, they never. It wasn't. This
was not a focus.
This was not a focus, and I think usually when I watched this, it was a focus.
Yeah.
Except for the wolf episode.
Yeah.
So, I'm still waiting to figure out what exactly chi is.
It is.
We already have.
It's a life of Chima.
There's no sugarcoating it. There is no beating around the bush. It's literally a drug, and you plug chi, and it's like steroids, and you go crazy, and you go super fast, and yeah. Anyway. Yeah, Alder.
No, never mind.
Okay.
I have when the Jagger, right? Jagger.
No, Krager.
When Krager was about to kill the ball, I was just going, yes!
Yeah.
But then he started singing that song. I just kind of wanted to head desk really hard, and that song was a pain to my ears, and the lyrics were horrible, and it just ruined the moment so bad.
Yeah, it kind of did. But hey. It was above average for the norm of Chima, but I can't really say I liked it because of how nonsensical it was. Shadow Wind, the mysterious person, showed up for like 10 seconds.
What was even his purpose in this episode?
He was there for like 10 seconds. He had no purpose. It was a cameo. He was in the last episode, and they were having a race, and this dude comes along at the very last second, and no one knows who he is. And he like saves them all from drowning, and he goes super fast, and he wins the race. And people ask for his name, and he won't give it, and he drives away.
But he did absolutely nothing. He contributed nothing except taking up 10 seconds of screenplay and making the series 10 seconds longer and more of a pain to watch. So
it helps to show they have not forgotten about it. That he's still a thing, and he's around.
Well, I really don't care about him right now. Like, maybe if I saw the first episode.
He is the single most interesting thing to me about Chima right now because I just want to know who that is.
Unfortunately, he was the only character that actually looked pretty decent. So I'm just going to say right now, they screwed up his character. I'm going to go to Lego. I'm going to have a knife, and I'm going to be looking for blood.
Okay, let's not advocate these violent tendencies out there.
Hey, Alina, have you heard of a group? They have a group for people like this. They want to bring back Bionicle. I think you'd fit in very nicely. No.
I don't want to bring back Bionicle. I am sad that Bionicle is gone.
No. We're not getting in this.
LJ, what did you think in short before we end this?
Mediocre. I liked the other episodes more. Night of the Wolf things, and there was that other one that we really liked. I forget which one it was.
Spire?
Yeah, I think that was it. It was better than Don de la Louche. But yeah, it has its flaws, which you guys pretty much summed up for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, that pretty much ends this. We will be doing next week's 10th episode of Chima, and we will reflect back on what they have accomplished in their 10-episode run. Hint, absolutely nothing.
Oh, we have come so far in the legend of Chima.
We have.
We will unravel the mystery of what Chima actually is, except for like some kind of body enhancer.
It's a drug.
Whatever it is.
It's steroids. It is Lego steroids.
Yes. But yeah, we will see you all next time. I'm Messina.
I'm LJ.
I'm Alina.
And Ian Stupid.
And this was TTV coverage of Legends of Chima Episode 9, Gorillas Gone Wild. Goodbye.